I'm going to make this video about my entire horror on a Blu-ray collection, for movies, and I believe I have one TV show on it. So we'll get started here with Alien, of course. This is really a really nice box set. It's got all four movies and a whole bunch of special features. It's a really good set. I'll take it out so you can take a look at it. Comes here in this hardbound book, and the movies are inside. Focus. There we go. All of the movies. Aliens. Of course, the first one is the best one, but I like all of them. Alien 3. Alien Resurrection. Some people don't care for it. I think it's pretty good. And not one, but the two special features Blu-rays. It's incredible. It's got a whole bunch of extra stuff here. Okay, moving along, we have here I Spit on Your Grave. A lot of these you're going to see them with a Spanish title. That's because I live in Mexico, and that's where I got many of these Blu-rays. I Spit on Your Grave, Rape Revenge. This is the remake. I don't have the original. I have seen it, but I don't have it neither on Blu-ray nor DVD. Okay. Oops. Dropped it. The Exorcist. Here we have the director's cut and the original theatrical version. Comes in this nice book digipack. I believe here we have the director's cut. Lots of pictures. Scariest film of all time. Yeah. And we have the original theatrical version. Alright. Really like this set. The Exorcist, the classic, of course. A must-have. Dead and Buried. Now, just one of my favorite movies from the 80s. This is a bit of a zombie film, or kind of like a zombie film. It does have to do with dead people being brought back to life, though they don't want to eat brains or anything like that, nor do they shamble about. This is a really nice film, especially like the setting, the coastal town, the fisherman town. Very good movie. I believe this one has like not one or two, but three commentary tracks. I haven't listened to any of them yet, but I am going to get around to it. Great movie. Again with the Spanish title, but this is Dark Skies. This is a movie that at first you don't know what it's going to be about. It may be one of those haunting movies, but then it turns out to be a movie about alien abduction. Pretty good. Liked it. Carrie. I have the original De Palma version and the remake here. Let's take a look at this, which has this lenticular cover, which is pretty damn cool. I like both movies, but I do prefer the De Palma version. I think, it's Brian De Palma, very well directed. But I do like both movies, I don't want to say any bad things about the remake. I think it's pretty good. Alright. The Black Swan. Here we have. Not really a horror movie, but with enough psychological horror elements that I believe merits his inclusion here on this list. Beautifully made film. Very well acted. An original story. Very much like it. Proud to have it in my collection. The Black Swan. Okay. Here, if you can speak Spanish, you'll see here the title, which is Ecos en la Oscuridad, which means echoes in the darkness. That has absolutely nothing to do with the movie's original title, which is All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. Okay, this is and even the cover makes it look like it's kind of like a possession film or something, maybe even a zombie film, but it's not. It's not anything. It's in fact it does not even have a supernatural element to it. It's but even so, a very original movie. I think it was enjoyable. Okay, here we have Afterlife. That's after dot life, and Liam Neeson right there. And there's a very badly photoshopped a cover, and Christina Ricci, who spends a lot of the movie naked. So if you want to see naked Christina Ricci, that's the movie to get. This is an okay ghost story type of. Sometimes it goes into psychological suspense. It's okay. The Wicker Man, of course, a super classic, a must-have. This is the restored edition. It looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. You know, a must-have in any horror fans collection. I have also this one also on DVD, but it's not the extended cut. Here we have Walled In. There, Misha Barton stars in this movie, and well, sorry about that glare. And this is a movie about a building. The building is not a haunted building or anything like that, but there is some strange goings on. You know, kind of hard to explain, but it is a pretty original movie. I liked it. Wakewood. Now, in my opinion, this is the best of the modern Hammer films. You know, the rest I don't really think have done anything for me, but this one is right up my alley. It's got that whole folk horror thing going on, which I really like. Okay, Wakewood recommended very much. Here we have, of course, The Shining, another must have in any collection. I am a big fan of the movie. I'm a big fan of Stephen King. I have read the original novel. I do know they're both different, but even so, I think this is one of the best horror movies ever made. The Shining. Salem Witch Trials. Now, as you can see here by the cover, it looks like it tries to sell itself very much as a horror movie. This is not really a horror movie. It's in fact historical fiction, but there are enough horrific elements here. I mean, regarding the actual Salem witch trials that make this very much like a horror movie. Excellent. It's in fact, I believe, a TV miniseries, a two-parter. Watch it if you can. Here we have a two-pack of Red Riding Hood and Sucker Punch. Now, of course, neither of these are horror movies. I bought this one for Red Riding Hood, which I think has a interesting visual element to it, and of course, it has a werewolf in it, even though it is not just shown nearly enough. Right? It's a okay movie for what it is. Sucker Punch, well, I never really cared for that one. Here we have a Possession. Now, there's been a ton of movies called Possession or The Possession. You know, this one is the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar, where her husband dies in a car accident, and then another man, which I believe is the brother, claims to be possessed by the spirit of the husband. So Sarah Michelle Gellar has to decide whether this is true or not. It's more of a psychological thriller. Okay, pretty good. You got Poltergeist, another classic from the 80s, also in a digipack. I really like these digipacks. You know, I think they make it they make the movie look fancier. Poltergeist. Toby Hooper that directed, and still holds up to this day. Piranha 2 DD. Now, the original title of this is Piranha 3DDD. 3DD, in reference to the 3D element, which this movie came out in 3D, and of course the double D is for the boob size. Here in this Blu-ray, it's simply called Piranha 2 DD. A bit confusing, I know. It's just a piranha movie. That's all it is. Good for what it is. Cheesy fun. The Others. Pretty effective ghost story with Nicole Kidman. It's very like an old style ghost story. Remember, this is one of the very first Blu-rays that I got at a very cheap price, which I believe was $5, which at the time was very cheap. Right now, it's a much more common to get $5 Blu-rays or even cheaper. Really good atmospheric ghost story. The Others. Moving right along, here we have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. All right, well, the packaging is okay. It's got all the movies here. The only one I have on DVD is Freddy's Back to Final Nightmare, which I keep around only because it's autographed by the star of the movie, Lisa Sane. Mimic 3 film set. Of course, the first one is the only one that's worth watching. The other two, well, they are what they are. First one, of course, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Pretty effective movie, one of his early ones. The Lazarus Effect. I really like this one. Even though more should have been done with the story, but it has its moments. I think it's pretty good. The Lazarus Effect. I believe I have this one on DVD as well. And then Jennifer's Body. Of course, pretty much watched this for Meg Fox and Amanda Seyfried. Other than that, well, again, has its moments, cheesy fun. It is what it is. Lady in Black. Alright, another one of the modern Hammer films, which I think it's okay. I have not seen the original version of this, which I do want to. And this one is pretty good. It's pretty good, though not as good as Wakewood, which I showed earlier. Alright, well that's old style ghost story here, Daniel Radcliffe. Let Me In. Here I also have this on a DVD. And well, one of my absolute favorite of modern horror movies. I have read the original book that it's based on, and I also have, yes, the Swedish version. And by a hair, I prefer the American version. Alright, I know that's not a popular opinion, but that's how I feel. Then we have It Follows. Again, one of my favorite of them, another favorite of the modern horror movies. Really good. I don't know why the camera is doing that. It's kind of like going in and out of focus. Well, anyway, I absolutely love this cover. Not the original cover of the movie. This is a steel book, which I cannot remember if I got it at Walmart or Target. But and I'm not a huge fan of steel books. I don't simply because they're usually more expensive, so I don't buy them. This one I did believe I bought it at full price, though it was not horribly expensive. So, but I do, again, I say I love the cover. All right, there's a couple of more that I have over here. Let me grab them. Okay, another classic, Rosemary's Baby. This one is just the bare bones version of it. It's got only the movie, no commentary, no, behind the scenes, no, not even a trailer. But even though it still looks great, the image looks great. And just watched this the other day. Well, again, a classic, another must-have in any horror collection. Another excellent modern horror film here, The Witch. Okay, I went to see this, I believe, 2 or 3 times when it first came out. I just listening to the dialogue here is fantastic. Just that old English dialogue, which really gives the movie um, a different feel to it. You had more of a sense of the time that it was where the story is set. The very early colonists of the United States. Excellent. Then we have here The Reaping. Decent, pretty good. Again, more could have been done with this story. Nothing like what you see here ever happens in the movie itself. But it's a pretty good movie. Last but not least, here we have The Returned. Original French title is Le Revenant, which means The Returned. Comes in a digipack. I mean, not a digipack, it's got a slipcase, sorry. A slipcase. And this is the season 1 of this of the original French series, not the remake that I believe is on Netflix right now. Extremely slow moving, but at times it is compelling, I have to say. I did enjoy it. I admit that the only reason I bought it was just to practice my French. But it has interesting characters more than anything. But the story itself, it just moves along at a snail's pace. Okay, if you want to check out the original French one, here it is. Well, that's it for my entire horror on a Blu-ray collection. I have a lot more on DVD because that's how I started buying them. So, got a video for that as well. Thank you for watching, and so long.